On the dais, that would be great. Sujit from Gade's Technologies. Sujit, welcome aboard. We got Kirti from Stellapps Technologies. Kirti, if you can please come. And we were supposed to have a fourth panelist, Param Singh. If he is able to join, great. Otherwise, we will start. My name is Jinesh Shah. I run a fund called Omnivore, which is a food and agri fund, venture fund, and we are dedicated 100% of our investments into food and agri sector for the Indian markets. We have two funds and we are in the process of completing our third fund also, all dedicated for food and agri sector for the smallholder farmers. We do all across the agri value chain, and dairy is one big component for our investments. Before I start the discussions about the topic, maybe I'll request everyone to talk about yourself and the company, maybe 60 seconds or 90 seconds at best, and we should be precise and very crisp in our responses. And audience, if you have any questions you want us to address in the discussions, you can just let us know right now so that we could capture them in the discussions and rather than wait till the end. But it's up to you guys. So if you can just put a pencil and give a note, that would be useful, guys.
Hello everybody, I'm Sujit from Adis Technologies. Adis basically means Animal Digital Information Systems. We are building the standalone animal stacks for digitizing animal records. So how do we do it? We use animal biometrics as a tool which is non-invasive in nature that would give a lifetime digital identity for the animal from birth to tomb. So we are working on different aspects of animal management, right from AI, milk collection, general health, vaccination records, breeding, insurance of animals, and hypothecation of animals. This all system is a fidget kind of an activity which runs on an app as well as an hard copy as an Aadhaar card for animals. Right now we have it for bovines, wherein all these details will be captured in one screenshot for even the last mile, wherein the farmer can use this app for free and avail the benefits of the data which would be generated on this. So we are here as a startup. We have recently started. We are working with some of the banks, insurance companies, FPOs, and many CSR activities happening here. So thank you all for giving this opportunity.
Thanks. Maybe Chakradhar, if you want to take it.
Hi, my name is Chakradhar. I'm founder and CEO of Country Delight. Country Delight is a direct-to-home consumer brand. We deliver farm fresh milk and food essentials directly to the doorstep of the customer. We are present in 11 states, serving nearly 400,000 subscribers and currently roughly a $150 million revenue business. Milk is our entry point into the doorstep of our customer and is the core reason why we exist today. Great to be here and look forward to the discussion.
So, Kirti, if you want to do it.
Sure, thanks, Jinesh. So my name is Kirti and I am from a company called Stellapps. We are an end-to-end food value chain platform wherein we have deployed technology that captures the various aspects of milk flow as it goes from the farm to the consumer. We also procure milk and provide premium market linkage for the milk that we procure to farmers. We also have a play on the input side where we provide inputs to farmers, and then the fourth leg of our operations is providing financial services to the farmers. So that's Stellapps in brief.
Thanks, Kirti. Just as a disclosure, Stellapps is our investment, so we will always be biased towards that. So, guys, we have one common question also. The audience has asked a question. How do we drive innovation and technology in dairy tech startups, right? The question requested is also towards how do we drive operational efficiency in the entire process. So, if you want to take it, and if there are any recommendations for government also, if you need specific support for this thing, please feel free to add, right? Chakradhar, if you want to take it.
No, I mean, so first of all, I mean, Indian dairy sector is a very fascinating sector in the sense that we are the world's largest producer of milk. We have the highest number of cattle, but we have the lowest productivity in the country. And if you take agri space overall from a farmer perspective, generally if you take all other sub aspects of agriculture, compared to that, earning a livelihood from milk is far easier and far more sustainable for a farmer than most of the agri produce that is possible. So I really hope that we do a lot of good work in agri sector and we continue growing and solving some of the deep-rooted problems in this space. And some of the problems which I foresee that exist today are in, let's say, 3 layers. And I think, both Stellapps and Gade are solving a big part of these problems. But the first problem that I foresee today is lack of traceability and transparency both on animal front as well as on the milk front. And this has a numerous ripple effects throughout the ecosystem, that is because of the lack of visibility on what produce people are consuming and also on the breeding of animals and the breeding cycles of animals leading to improving productivity in the country. The second place where I see a huge opportunity in the dairy space is in the feed space. One of the most important aspects for good dairy industry is the feed that people are able to give the cattle. It's a very unorganized space, and good government intervention can make a very huge difference. And data-driven intervention is far more powerful than ad hoc or on-ground interventions. The third thing that I see is the finance space, animal financing space, which is very unorganized because of the nature of the collateral, or you can say the cattle that are involved, and organizing this space and building more data and transparency can make a huge difference. In all these three spaces, while private enterprises continue to do a lot of work, government help can add a huge amount of value.
Thanks. Kirti, you want to talk about, because Stellapps have been doing all this what Chakradhar has been saying, right? So you want to talk about how you really want to go about it.
Sure. I guess we need to address the problem of the lack of predictability, right, that the farmer faces, which is in terms of the volume of milk on one side to getting the right price and the right market linkage on the other side. So if we are able to address this, then I think a large part of the problem will be solved. And the reason why this becomes a little difficult or a complex problem is because of the small holding nature of the farmers. They have on an average you find 2 cattle, 3 animal kind of farms. Now if you don't scale this up to take it to about 15-20 animal farm kind of opportunity for the farmer, it becomes difficult to bring in any kind of intervention, be it technologically enabled or otherwise. So that's one of the things, and that addresses the two aspects that people in the morning and through the day have been talking about, which is to do with productivity and quality. Productivity is all about ensuring that we get, not only ensuring that we get more milk per animal, but also it's about how do I manage this this means of production that I have, right? In terms of its health, in terms of nutrition, in terms of the reproductive aspects and all of that. So that ensures that the animal is completely productive for its entire length of time that it's meant to be, right? So that's on the productivity front. On the quality front, there are various aspects. The awareness itself is is quite low, and we need to significantly raise the awareness, and that comes through a combination, like Chakradhar said. One on the input side, in terms of what are the what is the field that you give, what kind of nutrition aspects that you control and manage and monitor. and also to do with, and therefore as a downstream, if you have to go down and see and bring in aspects like traceability, you need to really know what are the things that you need to measure and what. So for us, is that a signal to?
Just did it for you, right? Sujit, I want to really talk. You want to speak about how you are helping in the breeding, how your knowledge or the identification of animals helps to improve the overall quality of animals.
Yeah, breeding is one aspect which we think will address a lot of issues here in terms of quality. Finding the right fit for that microclimate is quite important if you want to have good quality output in terms of milk. It can be also in terms of meat. Okay, because India being so diverse in nature, there's so many microclimates at each and every place. These microclimates has led to different types of Boston breeds, which are on the verge of extinction. Even today, at your home, they may be saying that desi cow milk is much more suited for human consumption. Because of that quality which it holds, which is adapted over generations, staying in that microclimate. So now, this becomes quality when we want good quality of milk in terms of buffalo or cow milk. Hybridization in terms of crossbreeding has, I guess, increased more of manual intervention in natural production of milk. Third part is like to the government, I would also like to take up digital infrastructure which could leverage the last mile activity data to increase the quality and efficiency would play a big role in the overall ecosystem. Today if we see, there is a very much requirement of likewise, I can see Uberization of veterinary services. You see that there are very few veterinarians out there to take care of such a large stock. Even identification for them is a big challenge. So Uberization, what it will lead is, like even if there are less people, you can address more animals. Over a period of time, you will see a difference in the productivity as well as quality coming. So these are structural changes in the infrastructure needed. As we have highways, as we have the freeways, railways coming in for development of industries, I think these kind of infrastructure capabilities need to be taken responsibility by the government to develop. Third thing is like digitization would play a big role as it played a big role in human living. I did not mention that how digitization has helped humans. We need to bring that benefits to the animal kingdom also. We are talking about One Health. Yeah, it is all connected. So whatever difference or the betterment of animal kingdom happens, that will in turn benefit the humankind also. So breeding is one part wherein we preserve and develop the breeds further, which would help us. Second thing is infrastructure in terms of managing tools like ADIs, I can propose it here, which is free for the farmers and the government can take benefit of it. And fourth part, which is quite critical, is Uberization of veterinary services. Today we don't have doctors supporting the last mile farmers here.
Those are valid points. I think those are basic problems. I think we've all been struggling for many years, right? I think we got a question from the audience, right? And I'll use a question to make some tweak and different, ask in a different manner. Dairy in India is generally led by women, and generally the herd size in India is 2 or 3 cows, right? How do we really optimize the herd size? How do we improve the skills required to run a dairy farm? And can organizations like FPOs or cooperatives really help, right? Maybe I want, Kirti, you to start, and then maybe Chakradhar, you can give your viewpoints.
Absolutely. I think it starts with awareness. It starts with the awareness of what is needed to be done, right? And to be able to do that, we need to create a very strong, body of advisory services right? And these need not necessarily be, qualified veterinarians. It could even be paravets who would have the basic required information to go out there in the field and talk to, the farmers and look at the animals and then, provide them with the required know-how. And these can be fairly standardized. They don't have to necessarily be very specific. And of course, if there are specific areas like any pandemic, it could be lumpy skin disease or foot and mouth disease, etc. Those are different things that have to be handled by qualified people. But essentially, to create awareness of what are the progressive animal husbandry practices is the focus of the need of the hour. So, to be if I were to vote for one thing, I think that's something. I think the others.
So that's fairly correct what Kirti is saying, but there is one bigger issue, which is that there is like most of the health problems or anything that you have needs a government level awareness building. A simple helpline, and people don't use apps. Like women from rural areas are not comfortable with apps. They're not very comfortable with technology. A simple helpline or very simple solution that gives a one-stop service advice for people on the very basic things on, like for example, I'll take the example of lumpy skin disease last year. We did a lot of work trying to spread awareness on what to do and how to help cattle go through this during that phase, last July, August, September. But I would say we failed quite miserably in that. And that's because our dissemination was, at best we could do is pamphlets. And that itself is very complicated and it doesn't reach the household. The whole reachability and the point of dissemination of information is so unstructured that it is very difficult for information to simple information to reach the real stakeholder. And this is where I personally think government has a very big role to play. And as a country, we want farmers to make money. But the way for farmers to make money is not by increasing the prices of milk. We've seen a very bad milk cycle last year and the prices have increased. But if we really focus on things like good feed, access or through phone to good veterinary assistance, especially during the calving cycles, a lot can be solved by doing few simple things is at least what I feel.
I agree with you. I'm a BC, right? So I also have my viewpoints. When entrepreneurs say I also have my viewpoints, so I'll come back on this. I believe India also needs to have some kind of a service provider who can give veterinary services in India, right? The AI cycles in India are not optimized. We don't have anyone doing vaccinations in the right manner, right? We don't have anyone giving the right feed to the cows, right? We give whatever garbage is available and we expect the cows to do miracle. But unfortunately, that doesn't really happen. So, and we've been trying to look for entrepreneurs who can do all these basic things. And unfortunately, it's like 10-year journey for me, but I'm not able to find. Hopefully, we will be able to do that. I want to go to the next question, right? Milk is considered to be the openly available poison in this country, right? The quality of milk sucks, right? We have known historically how many bad stories we have, right? So there's a mistrust around the dairy sector from the consumers, from the farmers, because they believe that dairy companies don't pay them on time, right? From the banks who says dairy farmers don't tell me what cattle are alive or what are dead, insurance companies don't give people don't want to insure the cattle, right? It's all mistrust lying, and that's 24% of India's GDP in the agri sector. So how do we resolve it, right? Maybe Kirti, I want to talk about how are you talking about veterinary services available? How do you ensure the quality of herd size? Do about it. I'll go to the next point for Chakra and then with Sujit on the same.
Sure. One of the ways in which we've tried to address that is by creating an app which captures the data. We've done that for farms which are of a certain size and which have a certain amount of yield, because to make it widely available costs us, so we just have to optimize resources. So therefore we've done that. Now through that app, right, the paravet team that we have gets real-time alerts about the animal health. So there's one way of addressing that, and that, through that they're able to proactively, one is detect the heat, plus based on the movement, animal movement, etc., figure out whether there's anything wrong with the animal. So they are able to proactively go and talk to the farmer and find out, check the animal and do that, and take preventive action. So technology has really enabled us to do that. So it's just that this has to scale. We operate in certain set of villages and in certain parts of the country. Now, if you have to really scale this, then it requires that much money to be able to do that. So that's my.
Sure. To tell you that, I want to go to you and say, customer believes that milk in India is not good, right? So we end up heating the milk every morning because of water, because we believe milk quality is bad. So we need to ensure the battery has a dead, right? So there is, how do you bring that customer confidence, and is there a way customer's confidence will ever come back on the quality of milk you supply?
No, Jinesh, I don't believe any of the stakeholders in the dairy industry has a wrong intention, right from the farmer to the collection agent to the milk producer and to the distributor. No one has a wrong intention except for maybe few bad players or bad actors in the space. But there is no traceability. That is the root cause of the problem. And for us, that's why when we started Country Delight, our thought was to give good milk to the customer. It will be easily available. There will be a few farms where you will get good milk, and that should solve the problem, is what I thought. But that's not the case. You have to go all the way to the farmer. You have to pick it from the farmer. We have a policy that we don't take cold milk. We take only warm milk. So at least you are clear when you are taking it, either it is spoiled or it is fresh. It's so simple. So that kind of traceability is missing, because of which no one can confidently say in the ecosystem, except for maybe full stack players, that this is the quality of milk I am giving. And because they are not able to say that there are spurious products in the market, hence customer trust is getting lost. These are the problems that are coming, and it's not a very good trend for the industry if customers start believing milk is not good for me. A lot of people are lactose intolerant because of the A1 and A2. Actually, buffalo milk needs a lot of attention in the country because of the natural A2 breed that it is. People talk about A2 cow milk, but all buffalo milk is A2. So there is a lot of opportunity here if we pick on the right problem, but the space is so vast that it takes time for people to identify the right problems, and that's what I think.
If I can just
sure, please go ahead.
If I can just add to that, something that is very generic, right? Typically we call it the blue packet kind of a thing, right? In sachet milk. And what you say is true, that there is, there is a question mark in the minds of people as to the quality of the milk. But we also see that the moment you put a tag like organic, right? The trust level goes up significantly. People are willing to trust that, right? Which means that there is something that people are willing to look at as a label and attach a certain level of trust. Of course, if that gets shattered, then it's for us to lose. But I think it's for us to figure out what are those attributes that we need to and how do we actually convince the end consumer that this milk has gone through these quality protocols. We need to build those protocols, and it's not very difficult. It's expensive, is all I can say. So once we have that, once that technology is available, which can be done, at a low cost, then that helps in addressing some of these problems. The other is to increase the herd size. If we can increase the herd size and take it to, let's say, 10 to 15 animals in a farm, then you can do a lot of some of these things at the farm itself. So when the milk is fresh, you can really do these tests. It doesn't become so expensive, but that's like still some distance to cover.
Thanks for the Kirti. Sujit, I want to go to you, right? You've been trying to create an identification of animals. I see a lot of use cases of this, right? We still don't have much penetration on insurance or banks are reluctant to give loans on cattle loans. Right? Bovine loans are, I mean, there was a digital loan launched out, but it's all ceremonial at this point of time. I mean, how do you see this?
So, as you already mentioned, it suddenly just started. So, things are working out in that direction, that's what I can say right now. Acceptance of technology by the industry is low. For example, I can say the dairy industry. So, the focus on traceability is not there. They are focusing more on quantity. This is what is my experience onto the field. But when we talk from the point of view of a farmer, he takes a big risk keeping animals. And these risks are not mitigated. The reason for that is there is no foolproof technology to do this. What we intend to see in future is like the risk of the farmer should come down. Each and every animal should be insured. Each and every animal should be treated as an asset. Today, we don't have the banks funding animals for the reason the hypothecation of animals was not possible till now. So, flow of funds for management of animals, mitigating the risk by insuring the animals, and putting in traditional technology to use also. You must have heard in the morning by few of the field speakers that we Indians did not to be taught to manage it. We are inborn, we have been traditionally doing it. But the influence of the modern way of management of animals should be clubbed with the traditional knowledge which is there. So advisory on something like as ethnovets, because there are many few indigenous way to manage the diseases should be promoted. That will in turn lead to better quality, better productivity, and the whole ecosystem will benefit out of it. And the third part which I would like to stress out is like on the breeds also. Our breeds in India produce much better quality of milk, maybe that's buffalo or cows, than any other in the world. This is what is my study. And they are quite in demand not only in India and abroad also, because they are addressing the major climate changes which are coming up. These are one of the most resilient breeds in the world. So I feel this is a mix of both modern way of management and as well as traditional way of management is what is needed to address some of the basic needs of animal management.
Thanks, Sujit. I mean, I have a very question, right? And I also want the audience to react on that, right? I mean, we've been interacting with the global audiences and investors, right? I mean, dairy is getting a very negative name because of climate investments. I mean, there is a narrative which has been created that dairy is bad for the climate because people compare with the European and the American cows and the Israeli cows. That is the amount of methane they they throw out, and they just put an average to India saying India has 30 crore cows and buffaloes, and India's GHG emissions of methane would be very, very high. How do we counter this, guys? And because this could be an existential question for the dairy industry to get new capital globally. And for a country like India, where milk is the biggest source of protein for most of Indians, how do we counter this narrative? Maybe if audience has some response, I will take from audience, otherwise any panelists will respond in that. And guys, everyone wants to respond to this because for the dairy sector, this could be a question which could have a problem. I'll just put my mic.
I think we should tell the story of small farmers of India, right? I think it's a perfect story. Integrated farming, integrated agriculture, farm having 5 to 10 animals. You know, it's a perfect story that we should tell the world, right? We've been doing this for centuries, and I think.
In short, it means like industrialization of animal keeping should be moved to a small institutional in situ based farming.
But which can work, right? I mean, if it is 10 cows or it's 20 cows, let's figure that out. But it's a small farm, an integrated farm that can work beautifully. Second thing is cruelty. Let's tell the thing that Indian farmer is always taking care of their cows, right? Let's bring back the focus on, we are not cruel to our animals, right?
So when we mention this women-based drive this farm. I would rather put it as a family-based farming activity to address this.
Thanks, sir.
I think this perception of actually Indian dairy, what you are saying, I am not agreeing as far as my personal view. Because the Western world actually relate our number. And this is also true because this is the biology. If something is going somewhere, it is going to be another way. For example, our productivity, as far as it's well established, the Indian cattle, whatever it is, the buffalo or the cows is there, the productivity is the issue. And if the productivity is very issue, then the this is a climate resilient is there. So that methane production in terms of number is there. Because it is a conversion of energy from one source to another as far as Indian is concerned. Number two, I think here is our problem is the some sort of actually knowledge. For example, that we are India is the country where we can sell actually the ghee of A to ghee after 1000 kgs actually. What do you mean by A to ghee? It is the protein issue, right? So even the people can sell actually 2000 rupees kg of A to ghee. So some sort of perception. That's need more knowledge as far as the farmer level, as far as the industry has also responsibility to share what we have actually knowledge. For example, I share somewhere the thing that the quality, it is a big parliamentary question. The indigenous and cluster milk quality is different actually. I do not see what basis we are saying. I'm pretty actually somewhat agree with that we are resilient. We have adopted actually over the period of time, we can say as perception. But scientifically, it is only based on some of the composition, but that composition has not been validated that whether it is really going to be absorbed this much or not. If there is a certain is going to be composition is going to be changed, how you can interpret that this composition is going to be actually absorbed and then ultimately biological effect is going to happen actually. There is no much study. Reason is that we have never actually worked on that quality of this. So that's actually some sort of perception. It is nothing, knowledge is not much actually as far as.
I agree with you, answering is a narrative. Globally, it's a world investors, one of the biggest investors in the agri sector has said demand not to invest in dairy sector. It is just a starting out, right? It's not that what the Western world says is right or wrong, but it creates a narrative. So maybe everyone in this room has a job to create a counter narrative. It's a war of narratives. Guys, if you have anything.
Yeah, true that it's about narratives, but also gives us an opportunity to look internally and see if we can clean up our houses as well, right? We've seen that an animal that was giving about 3 to 4 liters on an average, right? I mean, through a series of interventions can be taken up to about 7, 8, maybe even up to 10 liters. So for a given quantity of milk, right, the number of animals that are used, reduces significantly. That's one way of, countering the narrative saying that, milk is going to be in demand, right? I mean, fine, I mean, we understand that it has its challenges in terms of greenhouse gases and all of that, but, by improving the productivity significantly, we are able to proportionately, by the same proportion, reduce the amount of greenhouse gases. The other thing also we need to look at is the entire supply chain, and there are certain areas where we can clearly optimize on the climate effects, right? One is in the supply chain. There's a huge amount of vehicles that fly ferrying milk from the collection center to the chilling centers to the dairy plant and to the consumers and all of that. Is there a way we can look at doing it in a more sustainable manner? Use of electric vehicles, and I mean that's another. It opens up another debate as to whether that's really environment friendly or not. But I mean some ways in which we can reduce emissions from fossil fuel and so on and so forth. So that's another thing. The third thing is that by using things like biodigesters, for example, right? I mean we are able to at least reuse some of those gases and plus provide good quality fertilizer to the farmer. So these are some ways in which we can minimize it. These are within our control. Plus whatever narrative has to happen has to happen.
So Chakradhar, if you have anything.
No, I mean firstly I think Jinesh, there is a problem that is what I would also like to say. There is a problem of perception, and a part of that problem might be reality and a part might not be. We don't know that. And the first thing would be to start measuring the problem and trying to validate how we can start by some internal measurement metric for ourselves. And two, when you say narrative, I actually believe it's a step further to understand and improve the cycle what we need to do. There is a way, there are ways where people are working across the globe to reduce methane emission by giving better quality feed. Now that is possible, but it will be expensive from a farmer point of view, and that would require some level of government support and intervention to help beat this perception that we are responsible actors. One big thing that we have for our advantage as a country is all our farmers, all our cattle are held by smallholder farmers who need it for their basic livelihood, which people understand. And I think when you say ESG, there is a social angle that adds weight to us from that perspective, even though we are a little red on the environmental angle. The other thing is the way milk is consumed through polypacks. We are also searching for solutions, but these are areas where active innovation is required, in my view.
I think I call it productive bubbles. I think, since it's a tech question, I just want to ask each one of you to give me one technology solution which you, or innovation business model which you would like to see in the next decade. If you want to see, if you can't see, that's fine.
I think anything that would help improve the productivity and anything that would help, change the quality. And these are two things. I know we've heard enough of this since morning, but I think these are two, cornerstones for us to really focus on, to really make an impact to the farmer and also to the consumer.
For me, I would focus on awareness building and centralized awareness building through integrated government programs where they can bring in private parties and build a big ecosystem with a big vision. I think that is probably the need of the hour, more than even tech.
I would divide this question into two. I would first answer this as a dairy farmer. As a dairy farmer, the most important need I feel is that we need to bring in traditional knowledge, such as grazing, which has to be a part of the discussion in these kind of forums also. Not only in feed, which is being managed by humans, there should be probables discussed wherein these kind of problems are discussed abroad on a larger scale to mitigate carbon footprint, to mitigate manual labor activities, to mitigate health problems of the animals. The second part I would like to divide it into, as he said, integrating government schemes to bring in awareness with technology, or maybe for me it would be digitalization of animal records, where we can start the calculating what type of risk we are going to follow in, what type of animals, how many animals are there to be managed, what animals are to be managed, and how they could be managed in a better way. So these are the two ways I would like to answer this particular question.
Thanks for this. Guys, this brings us to the end of the panel. Thank you, panelists, for giving us insightful discussions.